Hey, good evening, folks, and welcome out to another edition of the Pelican Sports Report. I am Doug Gann, and it is Dash for Fresh time, and we're excited to have Quitman head coach Justin Dodson in with us. Coach, welcome.
Hey, how you?
Doing well on here. I know we talked a little off air. There's just a lot of things going on for you right now as you get ready to make the trip.
That's right. That's right. A lot of things to prepare for, a lot of things to get done.
How does it make it a little bit easier? You guys have been down there the last several years. I think 22 probably the only year that you hadn't been since post COVID.
Yeah. It makes it easy because you got your itineraries ready. The girls pretty much know the schedule. Um, it's just business as usual.
Look, that's such a great statement. I've read a lot of things about some different articles there that the journal has put out on you guys and all, and that seems to be the approach that you've taken. First of this season, we're going to play anybody. We're going to do anything that it takes to get ready for this. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's always been my thought that you make your regular season schedule as tough as possible to where the playoffs don't seem as hard.
Look, and the playoffs, you've rolled through those so far, getting to Sulphur. Just a talented team. Let's get into them and talk a little bit, and then we'll take a back history and find out a little bit more about Coach Dodson on there too. But it's no secret you've got one of the best pitchers in the state. One of the that she's going off to LSU in Callie Deal. Tell us a little bit about her, and then let's talk about some of the other players.
Well, Callie is extremely talented, but what most people don't see is the work that she puts in before the games. When your best player is your hardest worker, it makes things a lot easier. But it's not just her talent; she's a good person. To everybody on the team, everybody in the school, everybody she meets. So she's just good people.
Those things, though, seem like they kind of go hand in hand too, the hardworking and that
Mhm.
talent that's getting recognized. And generally when people are that type of a worker, they realize that life's more than just that work though, and that kind of segues into that good person.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you have that much talent, if you're not a good person, then it doesn't translate. I mean, it's you can't hide who you are.
Right. Right. Excited. I know she was to get committed into LSU, and there was a lot of fanfare about that too. But
Yeah,
the things that I've seen lately, her concern is not LSU. Her concern is back-to-back state championships.
that's right. And she had a little bit of a strain. We set her down for a little bit for 3 weeks, and she come in that fourth inning of the Holden quarterfinal game. She said, "I'm ready to go back in," and she come back in and three scoreless innings, and I'm proud of her.
Look, we saw that, and you can follow that. That's the beauty of Game Changer. You can
Mhm.
follow along the progression of okay, well, she went out here, and now she's back here, and I know that was great to see. Not only from a pitching standpoint, and we'll talk about the couple of pitchers that you used while she was out, but just that leadership that you talked about.
Mhm.
It was probably great for the girls to say, all right, she's back.
Yeah, well, the morale, as soon as she stepped on the mound, the whole team's morale went up. I mean, as she just makes everybody else feel better and play better when she's in that circle.
Look, that's LSU's getting a good one, but again,
Yeah.
this team is not all about Callie
No.
Dale by any means,
No.
and know that you can get hung up talking about her because it is a great story. But you've got Maggie Guyot
Mhm.
that comes in, and everything I look at, I go back and look at all of the post game changer reports, and if she's not hitting the ball out, she's striking out a number of folks and play. So tell me a little bit about her also.
Maggie is I mean, outstanding player. She might be the best hitter in the state of Louisiana, in my opinion. Um, the girl can just flat out hit, and she can play any position that I ask her to play. She played third base basically her whole career, and this year I had to make a change. I put her at shortstop. She's thrived there, and she's just an outstanding player that you can use anywhere, and I'm lucky to have her.
So Maggie's a junior. She's committed to Louisiana Tech. What do you look at seeing her characteristically as taking over in a leadership type role?
Well, she's always had some form of leadership type role, and next year she'll move into a more leadership type role, and she's ready for it.
Another pitcher that we saw was Brenna Lampkin,
Yeah.
threw well for you too. And in Division Five, now Class B, you don't often see a lot of different pitching in there. Has Callie being out been able to say, okay, now we're able to develop some more pitching, or has it been there?
Yeah, it's a kind of a blessing and a curse, really. Callie went down, and it gave my two other pitchers a chance to step up, and they did. They pitched. We had a tough schedule. We won one of our last five, or six, but none of those games were out of reach. We were close in every one of them, and they pitched well enough for us to win. We just couldn't come out on top on some of those. But I mean, Maggie got to pitch the first playoff game, and she pitched outstanding.
Coach, tell me a little bit about your first baseman, Zoe Williams. She's been solid all year.
Zoe didn't get to play a whole lot last year, and I put her in. She started out in like the 7 or 6 hole. I've moved her all the way up to the 4 hole now, and she's just tearing the cover off the ball. She's doing really well.
What kind of what do you guys do to work on hitting? I've seen a lot of different techniques and different things that they work out. What is your main focus when you go to hitting? Because your ladies hit the ball well.
We do some pitch machine work, a lot of front toss. But I mean, my goal is to, when we're in the game, just see ball, hit ball. Don't think so much. You work hard in practice. You don't have to think so much in the game. Just see the ball and hit it.
Look, you have the outsider that looks at your record, and based off what you just said and what we've seen, and saw you guys, I guess, go 1-5 or 1-4 over that last little stretch. But that gum, you look at the teams that you lined up against in there, you didn't back up from anybody at that point.
No, I mean, like I said, you want your schedule to be tough. That way, the playoffs are easy. And there's everyone we faced in those playoffs at least made it to the quarterfinals or further.
You guys have defending champion as well, and this is one of those weird intricacies of the Division Five split out where B and C went on their own out of four. So you've got two defending champions that are about to battle as you guys take on Grace Christian on Friday at noon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool experience. Last year we both were Division 5 state champs. One was private, one was public. Now this year we get to settle it. Who's the real champion?
Look, we've often been an advocate that at the end of this next weekend, you ought to take all 10 teams and just have a double elimination tournament and
I'm
go
all
get it.
for
What
it.
do
I'm all
you
for it. I try to play all the state champions from the year before on my schedule this year, and I think we can go toe to toe with anybody.
look? What is it that builds that success in little old Class B Quitman?
Well, competition breeds success, is my saying. So the more competition you play, the more successful you're going to become. But if you play the weaker schools, you're not going to get any better from that. You either win or you learn. You don't lose. So if you lose a game, you need to learn from it and move on.
Look, that's just solid on there. Tell me about a couple of the other players. We've saw some big things. One of your big hitters, Hallie Kate Pullock. Tell us about her.
Hallie Kate, she puts in a lot of work, and she's hard on herself, but she's so strong, and she works hard at her craft, and she can flat out play any position. I've had her in the outfield a couple of times. I've had her in the infield first, third, and she's only a freshman. And last year she was the MVP of the championship game. So we're looking for her to come up big in the championship this year.
Now, that's one of the things that you see in schools of your size that some of the other ones don't is
Mm-hmm.
the ability to play as seventh graders and eighth graders, and so they're getting a lot of years of experience on
Yeah.
that. You had five freshmen that are on the team right now. Future looks pretty good as well. I know the present is really bright, but the future doesn't look like there's a lot of drop off equipment.
No, it don't drop off. We just got to reload the positions that we lose, and we'll be fine.
Another one that we saw was Carly Huckabee. Swings the bat really well. Also, tell us a little about Carly.
Carly's hard on herself, but most of the time in big moments, she's come through. Like when she was a eighth grader in the semifinals, She had like 5 RBIs, and we lost the game, but she was like 3, 4, or 5 RBIs. And you just never know. She's at a small frame, but she can hit the ball hard too.
What is it about Quitman that's going on up there? Did they change the water? Something something going on? What's the? And I say that jokingly. Tell me
Yeah.
about the workout regimen that you guys do.
Well, a lot of my girls go to independent workouts, but we work out throughout the summer. Most all of them play travel ball all summer, or we have summer league games. I can't take all the credit because these girls put in the work outside of just with me, and it shows. And every one of them tries to build off the other one, and we've just been successful.
But coach, it's not just talent. I mean, because there are a lot of talented people that are sitting around all summer and not doing anything. But the resurgence of travel ball has really separated it. Is it true that a lot of these coaches, if they're asking you about your high school team, but they're asking you about your summer team?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this travel ball circuit, it's a blessing and a curse. I like it because it gives all the girls more reps, but I also would like to see more of my girls all play together more. But it is what it is. You can win the national all whatever it is travel ball thing, but when you win your community a state championship, it's to me, it's so much more. And travel ball does a lot of good things, and but for the most part, I think that the high school state championship means a little bit more.
Look, there's not a single person, coach, that I've talked to, short of a couple of travel ball coaches, that won't say that same exact thing. That community just means more because you're wearing that team name across you, and you're not, you've grown up together, and they've been to pre-K together, and all through the school years. And these a lot of these parents played as well, and so now
Mm-hmm.
their kids are playing. So community is that.
I mean, it's a good thing to go out and win those national tournaments or state tournaments in the travel ball circuit, but you're immortalized when you win a state championship for your community.
And you guys have an opportunity to win back to back. Does that put some other pressure on you, or does that put on a sense of we're hungry because nobody's ever done this?
Well, I mean, we've had the target on our back. We've had it on our back for the last 2 years, even though we lost in 23. Um, when you're expected to win, it's a lot harder than if you're the underdog. But we're prepared for it. We knew that going in, and we're going to give it everything we got.
What's your approach in this semifinal matchup against Grace Christian, knowing the flamethrower that they have, Riley Gio in the circle, the hard hitters that they have? What do you do to prepare for that?
I mean, they're a good team. Um, we're going to play sound defense. We're going to try to hit the ball hard, and you know, I'm not taking anything away from them, but I think we got enough to take it over the top.
Look, I love that, and I can tell you and I have never met before today, and I can tell there's that reserved amount that if I'm not on camera, that you're a lot more fired up about it too. But there's
Yeah,
that certain amount of we're going to do this and respect the game, and
that's right.
I love that.
Yep, yep. We're just gonna do one pitch at a time.
We talked a little bit about travel, and I'll use just a couple of questions to finish up with you because I know you've got a lot going on. Year round softball is played with travel ball, but what's the importance of being well rounded and playing different sports like Deal, who's a tremendous basketball player?
Yeah, I mean, you play at multiple sports, it creates more muscles than if you just did one thing over and over. I mean, we have a bunch of track athletes, we have basketball, you know, it just gives them a chance to separate in other areas too.
Well, that's certainly a belief that we have as well. And these athletes are competing and they're doing such great work, coach. And it's because of people like you that are pouring into their lives. So, Coach Justin Dodson of Quitman, congratulations on a tremendous season, on your state championship a year ago, and your quest to repeat.
Thank you, buddy.